Hey everybody, first I'd like to thank Casey from Enter the Stars. He covered this, I seen it, and he gave credit to, who I'm going to give credit to now to also, is Catherine Baltzel. She found this story on Fox Now LA. And pretty interesting story. I'm not going to get into the particulars about Mr. Michael Massinelli and his claims that he put the cube up at the Georgia Guidestones with the date 8/16/2014 for the date of his marriage. Interesting though, when he says this, is that we now have what you're getting ready to see right here, and I think it just goes maybe some more proof along the lines of that he didn't actually put that cube up there. So let's get down to what we're going to piece together here, shall we? Now, I want to say that Casey did a good job of piecing some of this material together, but I think that there's more to this story than meets the eye here. And let me just show you here this. So this is the story she found, and I'm going to give you a rundown of the story. This guy snorkeling, he comes across these skeletons. Well, at least that he thinks that they're real skeletons. And he finds a plaque there, and I'm not sure if he's the one who dusted the dirt away from the plaque or if it was the authorities, but it doesn't really matter. So the authorities go down there and investigate after they were called, and it appears that these turned out to be fake skeletons. Okay, so they uncover the plaque, and although I'm not going to play it here for you because it would take too much time, I just wanted to show you the story, and of course I'll leave links to all this, and you can investigate the story more on for yourself. But suffice it to say that they claim, the authorities claim, that they can't read the whole plaque. Okay, so first of all, this is what it says. It says, Bernie Statue Dream in the River, 8/16/2014. The part that they're having, they couldn't read this word right here. STATUE, statue dream. Does anybody understand the significance of any parts of this? Okay, well, Bernie here, another name, or the Bernie meaning is strong as a bear. Well, considering the situation that we find ourselves in with Russia at the moment, and I think this is some significance because they tried to say that, oh, well, Bernie, maybe it had to do with a dead body because it's got fake skeletons. Weekend at Bernie's movie, which, why would that be with a date of 8/16/2014? We'll get to the date here in a minute. But so Bernie, the whole Weekend at Bernie's idea that they had didn't make any sense. But considering what the name meaning in American, or the American meaning of the name Bernie means strong as a bear, the situation with Russia right now, that makes more sense than the movie Weekend at Bernie's, right? Okay. Now, the cube. 8/16/2014. Okay, we'll get back to the statue dream in the river here in just a little bit. But let's take a look at the date, 8/16/2014. Okay, you remember in the cube exactly that date, 8/16/2014. There were two letters, MM, and then there was another three letters on another side, JAM, right? Okay, so now what Casey has done from Enter the Stars is he's explained to you a little bit about Jam. There was a group called the Jam that came out with a song called The Underground. But that is not all there is to those letters, and I'm going to show you here right now. Now, I present this to you because Casey presented it to you to explain to you about the cube. Now, the cube had the date 8/16/2014, the exact same date that was on the cube of the Georgia Guidestones. Now, I'm not going to get into Mike Massinelli and his claims that he put the cube up. We're not going to get into all that. I could do that all day long, but we're not going to do that. We're going to look at the other letters MM, and we're going to look at the other letters that were on the cube, JAM. Now, Casey presents to you that there was a group called the Jam. going underground. But that's not the only group that should be picked apart here. Let's take a look at one of their little pieces from their actual video itself. This is not a copy. This is from somebody else. This is from them themselves. Now, as you just saw, a nuclear blast here in the jam going underground. And what have we noticed here recently with the Chinese orbit, or the Chinese rover display that they had, and there was a planet in the background that had a nuclear blast on it, right? Intriguing. But what's even more intriguing is the fact that on the Economist cover, you saw a bunch of political bigwigs, Obama, Merkel, the dude from India, a few others. I won't get into all of them, but Putin. But there was also a nuclear blast in the background there, right? Okay. Before I go off and show you the other band that needs to be analyzed to go along with this group and the meaning, the jam going underground, let's take a look at one of the other pieces of the clue that is on that plaque of the fake skeletons. Here, Bernie, Statue Dream, In the River, 8/16/2014. Let's take a look at Bernie here. They go on to state in the article from the Fox News that the Bernie most likely stands for Weekend at Bernie's from the movie. Really? Don't believe that for one moment, everybody. Let's take a look at what Bernie means. Bernie, American baby name. In American, the meaning of the name Bernie is strong as a bear. Well, who is the bear? Is it Russia? Is it have anything to do with the possibility of what we're going through with Russia right now, with looming on the brink of World War III, nuclear explosions, a nuclear holocaust, the whole shebang? It could be. But let us now take a look at the other piece here, the other group that should be analyzed right along with the jam. Now, let's say for a moment that the jam going underground, actually the jam stands for the Justified Ancients of Mu. Okay? And what about the Justified Ancients of Mu? Did they go underground? We'll get to who the Justified Ancients of Mu are in a second. Now, KLF came out with a song called Stand by the Jams. And in their instance, the Jams stood for Justified Ancients of Mu. And where did they get all of their ideas for their songs? Doctoring the TARDIS. Yes, they came from the TV show Doctor Who. What was Doctor Who all about? Yes, visitors from another planet, aliens. So are the Justified Ancients of Mu some kind of aliens that were on this earth that went underground? Well, we'll get to that. Let's take a look and see how this song actually plays into a commercial, a Super Bowl commercial that we saw back in 2014. Let's take a look.
They're justified and they're ancient and they like to roam the land. The jam. But if you don't like what they're going to do, you better not stop them 'cause they're coming through.
So as you see, the Justified Ancients of Mu, they like to roam the land, and if you don't like what they're going to do, don't try to stop them because they're going to be coming through. What is that all about? What were they trying to tell you? Well, considering that I told you that there are opposing factions on this planet, Illuminati opposing factions, I do believe that there has been some kind of battle. And I know they express it in music here through these battles of like, okay, well, this group here is telling you that these Justified Ancients of Mu are going to be coming. And if you don't like what they're going to do, don't get in their way. But the Maserati commercial from the Super Bowl of 2014 actually was the opposite of what this song was expressing and what the group, the Jam going underground, were expressing in those songs. Now notice that the Justified Ancients of Mu, or KLF, are a British band. The Jam Going Underground was a British band. Now, so are we talking about some kind of factions of Europe or Britain? Are in kind of like some kind of loggerheads with some kind of other faction, maybe in the United States somehow? Well, let's take a look at the Maserati commercial, and you'll get an idea of why I say this message that this song is presenting opposes the message of the Maserati Super Bowl commercial.
The world is full of giants. They have always been here, lumbering in the schoolyards, limping through the alleys. He had to learn how to deal with them, how to overcome them.
Right. The giants. Well, if we look at this in a biblical sense, the giants were the Nephilim, the ones who had come down from heaven, who came down to the earth. And you notice in the biblical sense, they tell you that these Nephilim had sex with human beings. And I know some of you are not going to buy into all that. That's fine. I'm just presenting to you here what I'm seeing through all of this, and how Cern and how the Prometheus movie and all this is going to play into all this. You need to see this, because I'm telling you there's something coming, and you are going to need to piece this together for yourself. In case I may be a little off on some of this information, some of it may come to you better, and you go, well, wait a minute, oh, now that you say this, I've got this in my mind. Okay, so as you can see here, this commercial is telling you that whoever these giants are, they've been here and they're not liking it, and they're going to go to war with them. The Justified Ancients of Mu by KLF tell you that these JAMs are going to be coming through, and if you don't like it, well, tough titty. That's what their message is stating, right? So I'm going to show you how I piece together who actually the JAMs actually are. Now, pay close attention here, because I'm not going to go scroll through my old video here. Just follow along with me a second. In my video, The Illuminati End of Days Part 2, I pieced together for you that Enki, Prometheus are none other than one and the same. Both of them, the stories is that Enki was the serpent in the Garden of Eden who beguiled the male and female. Enki was none other than the god who warned Noah that a flood was coming, that his brother Enlil, and this is in the Epic of Gilgamesh, and it's also, you can find it in the Ziusudra story of the Sumerian tablets. Well, according to all of those tablets, and according to the biblical, is that it appears that Enki is none other than the God of the Bible. Remember, Moses had created the serpent statue, or the serpent rod, and held it up so that the people would be saved from the stinging serpents or whatever. Very interesting. And also that you will see that when Moses spoke with God up on the mount and the burning bush, and he said, who shall I tell him sent me? And he says, I am that I am. Tell him I am sent you. Well, the word I am in Hebrew, Ea, is none other than the exact same as Enki, or Ea, E-A, in the Sumerian, and also the Akkadian, or the ancient Semitic before the Hebrew. So notice that it appears that Enki, Ea, Yahweh, and Prometheus are all one and the same person, right? Follow along with me here. Even if you disagree, please follow along with me, because I'm going to show you something here. In this video also, I show you that Prometheus and the word Titan means clay. And Prometheus claims that he fashioned mankind out of clay, meaning himself. In the movie Prometheus, do you remember? Prometheus broke himself down DNA-wise, fell into the water. Later on in the movie, the female is looking at the DNA of the alien, or these alien beings from another planet, and shows that she says, hey, interesting, we have the exact same DNA as these alien beings. Well, how does the clay fit into this whole story? Well, that's what I'm about ready to show you. Titans, clay, and this whole story are going to fit here for you in just a moment. So on the plaque here, they couldn't able to read this word right here. And it is Bernie blank dream in the river 8/16/2014. This word is actually statue. Statue. Statue dream, right? Okay. What is the statue dream? Well, that is the statue dream of Nebuchadnezzar. And it fits perfectly with what the video, The Jam Going Underground, and JAM, or Stand by the Jams by KLF, said that they were going to be returning. These giants, or these jams, Justified Ancients of Mu, were going to be coming back, and if you didn't like what they were going to do, don't try to stop them. And don't forget the Illuminati message in the commercial here. Right. They're telling you that there is going to be some kind of war with these giants because somebody is going to strike. Is it going to be the humans that strike against these gods? Could be. Let us take a look. So it's interesting that the statue dream of Nebuchadnezzar fits perfectly into Ovid and Pliny the Elder's history writings that they wrote about. What was the golden era, the silver era, the bronze era, the iron era, and also there was one more, the clay and iron era. Yes. So Daniel's dream tells him that, hey, well, there was the golden era of the Babylonian Empire, then silver, the Medo-Persian Empire, and then, of course, the bronze, the Grecian Empire, the iron, the Rome Empire, and then you had the mixture of the clay and the iron. Well, according to Ovid and Pliny the Elder, the golden era was the era of the gods. Arcadia, yes. Arcadia is when the gods roamed the earth, or the aliens. Right. Stick with me, please. Just stick with me. I know this sounds fanciful, but just hear me out. So the golden era was the era of Arcadia. And in my first video that I showed you, the Illuminati and the End of Days Part 1, I talked about the movie or the TV show called 0 Hour. Take a look at all my videos about the Illuminati End of Days. So Pliny the Elder and Ovid, they write about the next era is when the gods left. Right, after Noah's flood, the gods left, calling it the Silver Age. Then you had the Bronze Age of the kings. Then you had the Iron Age of mankind's, where they were just, completely disruptive, or they were completely out of control. That's our time now, the Iron Age. So what were they talking about? Clay and iron mixing. Well, yeah. Remember, the Titans were cast out of out of heaven after the Greek story of the war in heaven. The biblical story also had a similar story as well, where Lucifer warred with God in heaven and he was cast down to earth, just like the Greek story of Prometheus. But Prometheus says that the word Titan, or the word Titan, we learn, it means clay in English, or that's what it means, clay. So is it in fact telling us that the clay is the Titans returning to be mixing with humankind on the earth? And I do believe when we look at the Nazi Germany, the story of the story of the Black Hand, or whatever it was, the Black Sun, and that was their preparation. That was a code word for their preparation for mankind to meet the return of the beings that are in the earth. Right. That's what they were all about. The Age of Aquarius. Getting men acquainted with the return of these beings that are under the earth. So where are they in the earth then, right? In this video, I show you Tartarus, the Mu, Lemuria, Atlantis. Is it none other than, take a look at this video right here, you'll see, that they are actually in Antarctica underground. We've seen a lot of weird connections between the writings of H.P. Lovecraft and how that they've been incorporated in the Sandy Hook hoax. And H.P. Lovecraft wrote about this one weird god who happens to live in Tartarus. Where is Tartarus in the Anubis story? Antarctica is what they're claiming in some of the stories. So that's what leads me to believe that this is what this is all about. The return of the gods. Jam, Justified Ancients of Mu, they're going to be returning. I know I'm getting scatterbrained here, and I apologize, but this is just too much even for me sometimes. So the Ouroboros, right? You see that we saw that the Enki, the god Enki of the Sumerians. You can also find this same symbol right here on Egyptian papyrus. You can find it with the Mayans, the Aztecs, the serpent god Quetzalcoatl. You can find it also in the Catholic Vatican. Yes, and you can also find it right here on the Pontiff's Gregory on his coin right here. Here's the Ouroboros right here, right? What were they trying to tell you? Well, has it been lost on everybody, the shape of Cern? Right, a round circle that is smashing particles together to do something, right? What are they trying to do? What is it that, according to the biblical, if you look at the biblical story and talks about the casting down of Lucifer to earth, and also if you look at the Greek story, how the not the Titans, but the Olympic gods cast the Titan gods out of heaven. And where did they do? They locked them up in Tartarus. Or they locked, exactly, in Tartarus. If Tartarus is in Antarctica, and let's say it is, somehow they need some kind of release, and there's only one god that really has, I'm just speculating here. Let's say Prometheus is there, and let's say some of these other Titan gods are there, and they need somehow to be released with, are they going to be using Cern to do that? That is an interesting question. Is that the reason why Cern is in the shape of this Ouroboros right here, of smashing particles together to create something? Now, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But I do know that this plaque right here that we're seeing here with the statue Dream in the river, 8/16/2014. Now, here's where we're going to get into even some more speculation. Do you remember Mrs. Legarde's numerology presentation that she gave with the IMF? What did she say? What did she say, everybody? Right. The magic number 7. Take the 2, you drop the 0, add the 1, add the 4, you get 7. Okay? So let's do that for ourselves right now. 4 plus 1 plus 2 equals 7. 6 plus 1 plus 8 equals 15. 7, 15. What's coming up on the 7/15? Is it that none other than Cern is about ready to release something, and that the militaries all over the world are preparing in case this gets out of hand? Is that what they're doing? It could be. I think that this actually is none other than why Operation Jade Helm is being put into place. I believe that Mrs. Legarde was telling us that drop the 0 and you have 7. And if you add 8 plus 1 plus 6, you get 15. Operation Jade Helm is set to take place, none other than July 15, 2015. Well, if you add that right here with what we saw on the cube and what Mrs. Legarde said, and all of the military operations that are going on all around the world, they are duplicating the Operation Jade Helm 15. Not by name, but of course by actions. What are they preparing for? Are they preparing all for a war with Russia? Is Russia now doing these exercises with China because they know that all of these countries are about ready to attack? Well, wait a minute. Didn't we just read that the United States was ready and set to bomb, nuclear-wise, Russia? Now, what, did all of that just fall out of place? Did Russia just go, oh yeah, all is forgiven. We know that you were about ready to bomb us, because the story was bullshit. We're being lied to all the way around here, folks. Something wicked this way comes, and I tell you it has nothing to do with war with Russia. I do believe that Cern, right here, folks, Cern is what this is all about. Something is coming in July, and all of these militaries all around the world are preparing for something to happen. All of those states, notice, even when the Lieutenant Listoria was presenting to Bastrop, Texas, oh, we're only going to be conducting this exercise on private land. So we really have no reason to go door to door. We really have no reason for this. We really have no reason for that. You got frickin' 8, 9 other states that you got listed in your document, but you don't speak nothing about what's going on in any of those states. Now, is it about this make-believe group ISIS that is going to be coming? I don't think so. I think I've just pieced it all together for you here, folks. The Justified Ancients of Mu from the KLF group, the JAM, the Justified Ancients of Mu, going underground. That's what they did. The Justified Ancients of Mu were none other than the Titans, Prometheus. Yes, all of them. They were put underground. Tartarus. Where's Tartarus? Look in my video right here. I show you that Tartarus is none other place than Antarctica. What did we see going in Antarctica here as of late? Yes, there's a hole right there. We saw that the Nazis in Nazi Germany went to go trek to Antarctica for some reason. What did they go there for? Did the U.S. military also go there, and did they have some kind of attack from some kind of alien craft? It is hypothesized that that's what happened. Something's going on here, folks, with Cern. Something's going on with the release of something. Something evil is coming. You remember I Pet Goat? They did the same kind of dance right there at Cern as they did in I Pet Goat. They're releasing something. Are you with me here all now? Now, I'm telling you, they've been telling you these things from long ago. This song came out in 1991. Stand by the Jams. Jam, right on the cube. Justified Ancients of Mu. Now, the MM stands for something, and I presented it in one of my other videos, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but it all fits in with the dates. It all fits in with the events. It all fits in with history. Prometheus, Enki, the Ouroboros, the word clay, meaning Titan. That's exactly what is coming, folks. Ovid and Pliny the Elder spoke about this even before, even after Daniel did, in the biblical sense. Right. Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar that the iron was going to mix with clay. Going to mix. Iron was, according to Pliny the Elder and Ovid, was mankind, the mankind's out of controlness. That was the Iron Age, according to them. And that there was going to be a time when the gods returned. Right, remember? The dawn of the Golden Age, folks. The dawn of the Golden Age was supposed to be when the gods returned, Nibiru, and was going to rule over mankind again. Now, funny how Ovid and Pliny the Elder say that there was going to be a mixture of clay. The Titans were going to be released from Tartarus. Were going to be mixing with mankind. Are they going to be fighting together against the return of the Olympic gods, i.e. Enlil, and the I don't want to call them Nephilim. I want to call them what the Sumerians called them, and I can't remember off the top of my head. But is that what it is? Is that Enki or Prometheus, clay, being released to mix with mankind to fight against the return of Nibiru? It's a possibility. Only a possibility, but I'm finding some very weird clues here, and I'm sorry that this went on so long, and I know you guys have probably already left already, but hey, I apologize, and I will put this all together for you and hope that I made this clear enough for you all. Thanks.